Hey everybody, it's Go Do Your Own Research. Tonight I'm going to be reading the deposition of Jed Wallace. I know some people yesterday were asking me about Jamie Heath's deposition, but it's extremely long. And I wanted to do this one first because I actually have quite a lot of background information on Jed Wallace. He's someone that my attention was focused on in this case from the very beginning, as soon as I heard about this CRD complaint, because I had experienced the kind of behavior online they were talking about with the comments and the astroturfing. So I thought it'd be interesting to add some of my background context while I'm talking, or going through it, sorry, while I'm reading. But first, we have an update from the court. Yesterday, let me switch screens. By the way, I apologize for the intro, the countdown. I just wanted to make sure that everything was running a little bit more smoothly than last night, because I know there was some problems with the glitching. So I'm really hoping tonight it sounds better. But yeah, so yesterday, Bryan Freedman, the counsel for Justin Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties, was captured outside court. And I don't know, you tell me, this is Go Do Your Own Research. He looks a little bit unconfident to me. But I'm going to play the video.
Wondering how did it go today? Well, how's
He's doing as well as he.
Ooh. He'll be back, don't worry. By the way, how staged is this? It's on TMZ.
As well as he can, and
yeah,
he's hopeful and looks forward to a positive resolution in the case.
Awesome. So what is next? Like, what are you guys expecting next?
We expect to continue to move forward with the case, and the judge made some rulings today that he'll make more public, and I'm sure you guys will be first to capture it, because you always are.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, one last thing. So, how's like the family doing? Like Justin's wife, every.
Yeah. So what the judge said was that he's sending them to a magistrate to discuss a settlement. What I understand is that is kind of a standard procedure, so it doesn't really mean anything either way. My own personal opinion is that I don't think Blake Lively is going to be accepting any settlement anytime soon, because why would she? She's come this far, and if she did, I think it would be really bad for her image, quite honestly. She has a very good case from everything I've seen, so why not prove it? But yeah, I was also going to say, like, given this is TMZ, they seem to be the only people there. I looked at Inner City Press, he made a tweet about it, but this isn't really getting a lot of coverage. But TMZ is very much in league with Bryan Freedman, in case you don't know. So if this is the best he can do, it doesn't look like things are going that well.
Everybody,
they're obviously, they've been through a lot. It's been a very, very difficult year, and he's holding up as well as one can, hold up, and
yeah, it's been a very, very difficult year because of you. And also, while I'm stopping, I just want to show you this on his head. I don't know if you can see. Oh, you can't see my cursor. Okay. He has like a lump on his head, on the side of his head. And I also feel like his eyes, that's why I zoomed in, because his eyes just look so weird. Like, his pupils are like tiny. I just want to look it up. Reasons it could be. But yeah, Bryan Freedman doesn't look good. And also, like, notice how, like, I'm not a body language expert. We need a body language expert. But notice how he keeps looking up to the side and the side. Like, he doesn't feel he's very honest to me.
We're hopeful that when he gets, the result here, that, slowly he'll be back to the great man that he was, and a wonderful person, and really meaningful. And just, it's an unfortunate situation, and it'll be good to get him vindication.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Bit of that.
I was just wondering, how did it go today?
Great.
Well, how's Justin holding up?
Justin is doing as well as he can, and
yeah,
he's hopeful and looks forward to a positive resolution in the case.
That was that. That was trying to convince us that everything's great. Good evening, Kayla. Audio sounds much better. Oh, I'm really glad. Yeah, sorry the video glitched a little bit. Did you hear the video? Okay. Or do you want me to play it again? Video is glitching hard. Do you want me to play it again? Let me play it again. Let me play it again. It's literally only 1 minute.
I was just wondering, how did it go today?
Great.
Well, how's Justin holding up?
Justin's doing as well as he can, and
yeah,
he's hopeful and looks forward to a positive resolution in the case.
Awesome. So what is next? Like, what are you guys expecting next?
We expect to continue to move forward with the case, and the judge made some rulings today that he'll make more public, and I'm sure you guys will be first to capture it, because you always are.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, one last thing. So how's like the family doing? Like Justin's wife, everybody.
They're obviously, they've been through a lot. It's been a very, very difficult year, and he's holding up as well as one can, hold up, and we're hopeful that when he gets the right result here, that slowly he'll be back to the great man that he was, and I think he still is a wonderful person, really meaningful, and it'll get him vindication.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, so is that better? Better. Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, what I was saying was like, if that's the best Bryan Freedman can do at this point, like he does not sound confident at all. And saying that Justin Baldoni is a great man says it all, really, because it's like, yeah, I think Bryan Freedman must be one of the only people that thinks that. Oh, I don't even know if he really believes it. But I just feel like I might be reading too much into it, but I just feel like the pressure is on there because, you know, really and truly, Bryan Freedman has really messed up his life because he kind of like said he could fix this, and it's not looking really like that's going to happen. And also, another thing that was announced yesterday is the trial has been postponed till May 2026, which is kind of disappointing to say the least, because I don't even know if I can hang on that long. I mean, it was already wait until March was a while, but now I'm like, oh my gosh, really? I've got to do another 6 months of this? But we'll see. We'll still be here. Anyway, that's why it's important now to go through all these depositions and make sure that they're on record, because the conversation has switched again. The narrative now is all about these websites. And I do have some stuff coming up about that, which we've been working on behind the scenes. So yeah, that will be out soon, hopefully. Good stuff, good stuff. Right, should we get to this Jed Wallace? So yeah, as I was saying, like I know a little bit about Jed Wallace because before I started following this case with Blake Lively, for anyone who doesn't know, I was kind of mixed up in this community from watching a creator called BJ Investigates, and she was talking a lot about Bam Margera. She actually had started this whole free Bam movement, and I used to watch a lot of her content, so I kind of got mixed up in it because come to find out, there was a TV documentary being made about it with some people that I happen to be in contact with appearing in it. Some people that I called out for being part of a troll farm. And I have made a video about it. But yeah, so it turns out that Bam Margera, he was in this TV show called Jackass, which was on MTV like back in the day, where they did like stupid stunts and filmed it. I mean, he kind of started as a skateboarder, so it went from like skateboarding to stunts. And then they started making it into movies. And I mean, really, it hadn't been doing much for a while, but in 2020, they decided they was going to make Jackass 4. And so most of the cast at this point was sober, but Bam Margera still was not sober. Like he was, I don't know what he was doing, but he was doing a lot of drinking and a lot of taking stuff. And so they signed on to make this movie, and it was being produced by a company called Dick House Productions. That is the production house of the Jackass team. So their attorney is Bryan Freedman, we've come to find out. And they assigned Jed Wallace as part of Bam Margera's contract to be in charge of his well-being program. Okay, so Jed had a background in working on PR, and he had worked a lot with recovery services, like recovery gurus, recovery services, like brokers. Like there was this company called Heather Hayes that he was doing PR for. He's taken his name off their website. But from what I've understood and what I've researched is they had arrangements with like reality shows, yeah? So he was in charge of kind of keeping Bam Margera on the straight and narrow, apparently sober, with his well-being program, although his background was in PR. So Bam Margera said he had to check in with him every day on FaceTime and take certain medications. And so what happened was, obviously in 2020, there was COVID. So they had to stop filming. And so Bam Margera stopped checking in with Jed Wallace, and he basically stopped doing the sobriety test that he'd apparently signed a contract that he had to do. And when he eventually did do one, he failed it. So he got fired off the movie. And I mean, I don't know how that works, whether it comes down to liability or insurance or what the deal is. I mean, listening to Alex Sachs and how she was talking about how they have to have like finance bonds, I think when the actors or the stars of the film have a problem staying sober, I think it's kind of a similar thing where they have to have some kind of like arrangement to make sure that that person turns up every day and doesn't mess up the film. So Bam Margera gets fired. Obviously, he's not happy about it. He starts going on Instagram live and pretty much having a breakdown and saying that, you know, how dare you fire me from this movie? I invented Jackass. It can't be, you can't do it without me. And so he ends up suing Paramount Pictures, who the film was being made in partnership with. And he's trying to stop the film from coming out. And so this is all going on like in 2020. And by 2021, Paramount kind of fights back. So there's a court case. And in this court case, Jed Wallace writes a declaration, yeah? But meanwhile, Bam Margera has found out that Jed Wallace does not have any qualifications related to any kind of physical or medical attributes. He doesn't even have a degree, like he's lied about his education. So this all came out in court. And Jed Wallace was true to form, expressing how horrified he was that he's been accused of falsifying his education. And he said that he had to leave college because of a university, I believe it was Fordham University. He had to leave due to a family emergency, but he carried on his education at another college. And he thought that was enough for him to pass his degree. Because remember, he's saying he's got a Bachelor of Science. But that was a lie, Jed. And that is on record. So, as I said, I've made a video about it, kind of explaining it all and showing all the paperwork if anyone wants to go and check that out. But I don't think anyone else has really explained this clearly. So I'm just going through it again. For anyone who doesn't know, he's already been caught lying in documents in 2021. We also know from them that he had a relationship with Bryan Freedman, and that potentially Bryan Freedman brought him in on that movie. As we know, Melissa Nathan said they are very close. So the other thing that was interesting before I start going through this Deposition is that there was a Reddit page set up in 2021, pretty much around the same time that this court case started with Paramount, and it was called Let's Talk BAM. And I didn't really go on Reddit then, but when I started finding out about this troll farm situation, that was when I started paying a lot more attention to it. And a lot of the information was coming from Reddit posts. And so when I heard about this Blake Lively CRD thing and the AstroTurf, and it kind of made sense to me, because I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what we were experiencing. These anonymous Reddit accounts that would post pictures, or they would dox people's addresses. It was really crazy what I saw going on there. And I honestly had no idea that kind of thing happened. So that was where I came in to start making videos about all of this stuff. Anyway, I'm not saying Jed Wallace was behind that subreddit, because I really don't know. But potentially, knowing that even if they don't contribute sites, they just seem like they want to buy domain names or take ownership of them if they're already in existence. And obviously Reddit is something that they put in their own brief, their own document when they're trying to offer quotes and stuff, although we're going to find out in a minute he doesn't actually know what that means. So I'm just going to show you that it says there, oral and videotape deposition of Jed Wallace taken on Thursday, October 9th, 2025. So we start off with, will you say in an email, this was forwarded without attachments, right? I do say that, but I don't recall. And okay, and you say, this is exactly the kind of content in theory until I read them that our team can elevate, right? I do say that. So you seem to be saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to be saying that whatever this attachment or article was, you hadn't read it yet. I can't speak to that, I'm not sure. You don't remember if that's what you're saying here? I don't remember, no. Well, nonetheless, whether you had read the article or not, you say, this is exactly the kind of content that our team can elevate across all algorithmically driven platforms, correct? Yes. Was your team capable of elevating content across algorithmically driven platforms? I don't have a team. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you went to the Reddit page for that Bam Margera, I guess it seemed to me like it was a fan page. It was called Let's Talk BAM, but I can never work out if it was Let's Stalk BAM or Let's Talk BAM. But either way, that's the kind of thing you would see on there. You would see a TMZ article about him posted on it. Do you know what I mean? So this is how this kind of stuff gets populated. That's what they're talking about here. Also, Jed Wallace also works for Logan and Jake Paul, and has done apparently since 2019, and they are in another lawsuit. They've got another litigation lawsuit going on, which he's involved in. He's also been involved with Adam Ross legally.
Got really great, good lawyers. You can Google my lawyer. His name is Bryan Freedman. Great lawyer. Oh my God, he's great. I pay him so well. Great human being. I love Bryan Freedman. He's so good, dude. I'm just saying, I got good lawyers.
So Jed is no stranger to these legal situations, in case anyone is wondering. Is street relations capable of elevating content across all algorithmically driven platforms? Absolutely not. So you were being untruthful to beep when you said that our team can elevate across all algorithmically driven platforms. Objection! Yeah, not at all. You were not at all being untruthful. No. Okay, so street relations can't do that, right? Correct. So who is your team capable of elevating across all algorithmically driven platforms? If I'm referencing Tag, it would be whomever works for Tag to post stories. Well, I'm pretty sure that Tag PR was not involved with this Bam Margera situation. They weren't even around then. They only started in 2024. I don't remember Bam Margera having anyone doing PR for him. Jackass the movie? Could it have been them? Or could it have been Bryan Freedman directly? And you're saying you have no memory at all of what team you were referencing here. No, I think I said I'm referencing Tag as the team. Okay, so you think that Tag is capable of elevating content across all algorithmically driven platforms. That doesn't even make sense. Because what he's asking there is Tag PR the people that are taking articles and spreading them all over the internet? And obviously we've seen messages where they're saying that's literally not their job. It's literally not their job to do socials. That's what they say in their own messages. 100%. Okay, who at Tag can do that? Objection. To be specific, this is Jed talking, when you post a story or find a place for a story, you are elevating it across algorithmically driven platforms. This is Gottlieb speaking. And so who at Tag was capable of posting or sharing stories, creating content? Same. I don't know specifically. That's their job to create stories. Tag's job is to create stories. Yes, or let me be specific with that, is to help their clients get things posted as news stories, which would 100% elevate it across all algorithmically driven platforms. No, it wouldn't. I mean, that doesn't happen automatically. That only happens if it gets boosted and amplified. He's just trying to really make it confusing with his answers. And so who at Tag was capable of posting or sharing stories, creating content? Oh, I just read that. Okay, and so you believe that when you were writing, so I can share with the teams and get it into the system, what you're talking about is sharing the content with Tag. I do. And you believe the system is a reference to something that Tag has. It's the system of posting or at least getting content covered for their clients. No, it is not. Because why do they keep saying, we're going to send this to Jed? Make sure this is going to be sent over to Jed to check on, like, for suppression, or has Jed seen this? To Jed and his team, there's so many times they say that in the messages. And you know what? I keep thinking, like, if we never saw those messages in the initial CRD complaint, they would probably be getting away with it, with this, because we really wouldn't have known what the hell was going on. But those messages just told us everything. Like, I just feel like he's deliberately trying to play dumb, like making us feel like we're dumb. Like, we know you was hired to spread talking points onto platforms like Reddit, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, even 4chan. And you're sitting here answering that was Tag doing that. It's just ridiculous. Okay, and you recall the previous exhibit we looked at was on the 19th. At 7:29, and you said, got that one in the system / on it, correct? So does it look like you followed through on what you said you would do here in Exhibit 10? I don't recall what that is. Was this further help for redacted? No, I didn't. Again, not engaged by redacted. So we don't know who these names are, but there's been a lot of speculating. But like I said, we do know who he does work for. He obviously works with Bryan Freedman. He obviously works with Jake and Logan Paul. And he obviously works with Aidan Ross. Well, sir, that was not my question. My question was this further help for redacted that you provided? Objection. I can't answer that. I don't know. Why? Why can't you answer that? Objection. Same objection. I don't know if it helped him. Did you believe you were providing him with help? No. It's a very simple question. No? I believe that I was helping to share information. Is that not providing help? It is. Okay. So if I want to ask you whether you were formally engaged by someone from this point forward, I will be sure to ask formally engaged and specify my question. But can we agree, if I asked you if you have helped someone, we're using the broad definition of help in any respect? Objection. Joy. You don't need to make an agreement about that. He's just not being straightforward with his answers. It's just so obvious. And again, it's like, if you haven't done anything wrong, why are you not being straightforward with your answers? Exhibit 11, sir, is a document bearing the Bates numbers 3.0486 through 0488. This is a text chain. The date range is November 11th through November 14th, 2024. Appears to be between yourself, Ms. Nathan, Ms. Coslow, redacted, and... So could that be Katie Case? Hi, Mr. Wallace. Back on the record. Hope you had a good lunch. I bet he did. Oh, you know what I was going to do? I forgot. I was going to show his picture. Is it going to come up? It's not ready. I literally forgot to show his picture. Oh, man. Okay. Here we go. That's him. I'm just having a complete nightmare. Good evening and welcome to Go Do Your Own Research. If this is your first time here, I'm not normally this bad at this, but I was in the middle of doing a live stream about Jed Wallace's deposition and I showed a picture of his ugly mug. And the next thing, my entire machine froze and I couldn't carry on. So I'm resuming where I left off. I hope someone can see this. And if not, I'll just carry on talking and you all can watch it afterwards. So I'm sharing this document, which is Jed Wallace's deposition, recorded in, I've forgotten the day already, but I said it in part 1. And we've been talking about how much he is taking us for idiots with his answers. So he's just come back from lunch and he had a good lunch, judging by the size of him. We were talking before about a period of time in October through November of 2024. We were looking at a bunch of messages. I think I asked you before about sort of like the record keeping that you have or that Street has for your work. If we wanted to recreate one of your days in that period of time after the fact, say, you know, mid-October, end of October 2024, would you have anything in terms of records other than, you know, your text messages, emails, and phone records? Would I have anything other as records? Is that what you're asking? I'm sorry. Any information that you would have stored somewhere that would help us to recreate one of your days going back in time other than what is you have preserved in the form of text messages, whether Signal or Apple emails and phone records that show outgoing and incoming calls? No. Do you keep, not that I'm aware of? I'm sorry. Not that I'm aware of. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. The fact that this guy has a record of lying and he's blatantly lying that he doesn't keep all his messages. How could you do that job without keeping all your messages and your links and your clips and your videos and TikToks and all the rest of it? Okay, do you keep a calendar? Yeah, there's a calendar of events. You have a calendar personally? Yeah, I mean, everyone has one on an iPhone. Okay, do you ever put work calls or work meetings into your calendar on your iPhone? Yes. And if you get invited to a Zoom or a Microsoft Teams meeting or something like that, that from time to time show up in your calendar on your iPhone. Objection? Yeah. If someone sent me a link to that, you know, it just populates. It just populates, but I don't know anything about iPhones. I just know how to say populate. I'm in a really stupid mood now after tonight. It just populates sometimes. You accept or deny. All right, so sometimes you will have depending on whether somebody sent you the invite to your email or your otherwise sent you an invite that populates into your calendar. Do you know what populates means? I'll just let you know in case you don't. It's when you get a notification from your phone and it automatically enters itself into your calendar and then gives you a notification to say, you've got a calendar event coming up. It's a sort of digital record, if you will. that you have no control over. I need to know more details. A conversation in advance of her sending this message at 8:57 a.m. Objection. I don't recall. Is it possible that before Ms. Nathan sent this statement of work at 8:57 a.m. that you and she discussed this statement of work? Objection. Yeah, I don't recall. I get so many jobs that pay me 30 grand a month. You know, just another day in the life of Jed Wallace. Objection. Yeah, I don't recall. My question is just, is it possible? Objection. Sorry. So that's a yes or no. Yeah, I don't think so. You don't think so? But do you know for certain that you and Melissa Nathan did not discuss the statement of work before she sent it at 8:57 a.m.? Objection. We did not discuss the statement of work before she sent that. You're certain of that as you sit here today? As I recall. Okay, that's a different answer. So saying to the best of my recollection, I don't recall discussing this is one answer. Saying that you're certain is another. I'm explaining it to you like you're 5 years old. So I'm just trying to discern the difference to understand your testimony. We didn't have a discussion about the scope of work. Okay, and you're sure about that? I'm sure about that. All right. Did you discuss it with her after she sent it? I don't recall. Okay, so you might have discussed it with her, but after. But you're sure you didn't discuss it with her before? Yeah, I don't recall. Do you see the next bullet down says, use our team of specialists to build all the digital, Reddit, site, X, 4chan, Discord, etc. messaging to trend and dominate in clients' favor. I do. Are you aware of any team of specialists that exists that can do that? I'm not. Is Melissa Nathan a technically sophisticated person? Objection. Objection. Yeah, I'd need a more specific question. Do you think Melissa Nathan understands, for example, the concept of something being algorithmically weaponized? Objection. I don't know. Do you think she understands how to influence content on 4chan? Objection. Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have put her down for that at all until I read this deposition, but now I'm sure she does, because that makes a lot of sense of a lot of the comments I've seen following this case and their absolute hatred of women. I don't know. Would it surprise you to learn in her testimony under oath in this case, she testified that she doesn't even have social media? Well, we know that's a lie because we have seen her Facebook and she has 2 old X accounts, or Twitter as it was known. Objection. I don't. I have no idea if that would surprise me or not. It would be news. Okay. She also has Instagram, but it's on private. It's in the exhibits because Jennifer Abel is trying to follow her to send her a DM and she's got the wrong Melissa Nathan. I just don't know who these people are trying to kid, but they certainly seem to be trying to kid the lawyers in this deposition. Okay, but your testimony is you don't know anyone who could build all of the digital messaging from these platforms to trend and dominate in the client's favor. Is that right? Objection. Correct. And you can't do that personally. I cannot. Okay, so assuming that Melissa Nathan is also not capable of doing this personally, given your testimony that you can't do it personally, and you don't know anybody who can do this personally, is this a truthful representation of the statement of work that you, Tag, and Bryan Freedman could provide? Objection! I have no idea what some of these things are. So no, this would not be a truthful and accurate representation of a service that collectively you, Melissa Nathan, and Bryan Freedman could provide. Objection. Objection. We've got two objections. Not from my perspective. Why do you think that Melissa Nathan repeatedly sends out statements of work that represent digital services that you can't provide? Objection. Objection. Can you repeat that question? Why do you think Melissa Nathan, that's the woman who dyes her hair blonde and has dark brown eyes and freckles and used to work for Donald Trump, or the Trump organization, shall I say, to be precise, repeatedly sends out statements of work to clients referencing digital services that you are not capable of providing? Objection. I have no idea. I can't imagine why she does that. Does it concern you? Objection. I don't know enough about it. This guy literally helped with the construction of the lawsuitinfo.com, where they uploaded all the content to prove their defamation case against the New York Times, but he doesn't know anything about it. Wow. As you sit here today, that it concerns me. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. As you sit here today, we've now looked at a few of these, right? Okay. And I'm just asking you, as a businessman who runs his own business, who apparently lost 7 million, was suing Blake Lively for $7 million for loss of business, who has a representation, does it bother you at all that you are being held out to provide services that you are sitting here telling me under oath, not only can you not provide them, you don't even know what they are? Objection. Does that bother you? Objection. Same objection. I don't know what she's talking about. Okay. If she's talking about you, if her testimony is in providing description of digital services, she was talking about you and street relations, then would it bother you? Objection. Objection. I don't have enough details there. So what about that email then that you sent on the, was it the 8th or the 9th of August 2024, where you were like, hey, Wayfarer family, my team and I have been working full throttle on this. What were you working full throttle on if you didn't understand what she was talking about? Would you want to keep working with somebody who's making misrepresentations to clients about what you can do? Objection. This is Exhibit 18, and Mr. Wallace, you've been handed a document marked as Exhibit 18 bearing the Bates numbers Street 30348 through 0355, and let me know once you've had a chance to look through it. Okay, you've had a chance to look through Exhibit 18? I have. And Exhibit 18 is an email exchange be an attachment that involves you, a number of people from Tag, and someone from Redacted. Is that right? Yes. Is Redacted a client that did any work for around this time? They were a client of Tags. Okay, a client of Tags. Did you or Street do any work for them in connection with Tags services? I had a few consulting calls with them. Okay, and this is August 3rd, 2024, a few consulting calls, not just one. Is that around the same time that you began performing the work that you did on behalf of Wayfarer Studios? No, it was later for Wayfarer. A few days later? August 9th. This was around the same time that you began talking to Miss Nathan about Mr. Baldoni and Wayfarer. Is that right? I don't recall. Okay, at most then, I think what you're saying, it was 6 days apart from when you were engaged. According to this date, yes. And there is a scope of work for Redacted that is attached to the end of this email chain. Is that right? Yes. And Redacted. Oh, lost your microphone? My bad. No worries. I just had to pause there before I lost it. Am I right that? Yes. Okay, and at 8:28 p.m. on Friday, August 2nd, you reply to the introduction that Redacted has sent. Is that right? Yes. Redacted. I'm sorry for the circumstances, but happy to connect and help build a solution. Do you see that? I do. How sincere do you think his I'm sorry for the circumstances is, given what we know about him so far? Given he can't do anything to do with digital services, I don't even know why he's talking to them. I see the date of the article. Oh, and you say, I see the date of the article and have my forensic team building a quick report on the sentiment and how it engages, so we can discuss all the paths to solve. Do you see that? I do see. Who is your forensic team you were referring to here? I don't have one. Who were you referring to when you wrote my forensic team? I don't recall. Do you think you had someone out there that was building a quick report on the sentiment? No, not at this point. Do you think you asked anyone, whether human, AI, or otherwise, to build a sentiment report at this time? At this point in time? I did not. So this had someone out there that was building a quick report. I found my video. So this was a misrepresentation that you made to Redacted. It was forward thinking before I looked into the case. I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. I hadn't had a chance to review. I was going to review myself first. Okay, so you didn't yet have anyone building a quick report, but what you're telling me, I think, is that your intention was to prepare some kind of a sentiment report. I don't know enough details. I don't recall. Okay, but you certainly recall that it was not correct that you had a forensic team at that time building a quick report on the sentiment. Correct. I just want to say on that point, because as I've mentioned, he works for Logan Paul and Jake Paul, and he's named on one of their litigation lawsuit documents as a strategist, having intimate knowledge of their activity. There is a Logan Paul video made by Logan Paul. There's two Logan Paul videos that I have come across where he talks about his forensic team. One, when he tracked down a supermarket employee who had taken his product off the shelves because there was a listeria outbreak, which he thought had affected the Lunchly product. So Logan Paul says, I got my forensic team to track him down. They tracked down the store, they tracked down the guy, and they doxed him. There was also another video, which was a lot more well publicized, where he was being interviewed for the BBC, and he said he had his forensic team look up this guy's profile and found his email, that there was an email address registered in his name, in his name, that had an account on Pornhub. So are you saying that Logan Paul doesn't have a forensic team either, that he finds this information out with? Because I really, really doubt if Logan Paul has the intelligence to do that stuff himself. Then you ask if you can connect on Monday, right? Yes. Then you say, I'd like to introduce you to my crisis comms specialist that focuses on diversity and culture, Melissa Nathan. Do you see that? I do. Does Melissa Nathan focus on diversity and culture? Among other things, she's very good with that. Very good at diversity and culture, being that she's a white woman. Objection. I don't know that those are different. Are they the same in your view? Could be. You say Melissa and or her team can connect with you today so we can get their perspective. Let me know if you're open to that. I can get their feedback, team, my forensics team's results, and then we can connect on Monday. Do you see that? I do. But you had no intention of getting your forensic team's results by Monday? Is that what I understand you to be saying? I need more details. Why do you need more details than what you wrote? I don't recall exactly. Well, I mean, how often do you tell people that you have some team working on something when it's not true? It's puffery. This is puffery? Okay. You say, either way, this is our wheelhouse and I'm happy to discuss. Do you see that? I do. What are you trying to convey when you tell somebody this is our wheelhouse? He used that exact same word in a message to Jamie Heath also. So that is how he talks. I don't know what it means. I've never heard anyone that says this is our wheelhouse. It's a very odd expression. But I did just look up puffery quickly. And it says puffery means exaggerated praise, especially when used in publicity. the act of praising someone or something too much in a way that is not sincere. So he's basically saying that he did exaggerate and he didn't mean it. What a weirdo. What a weirdo. But you had no intention of getting your forensics team's results by Monday. Is that what I understand you to be saying? I need more details. Why do you need more details than what you wrote? Oh, we just read that. Because it's puffery. Wait a minute, now I'm lost. I was at Wheelhouse. Oh, okay. I've gone past it. Puffery, Wheelhouse. I don't know specifically. Crisis management is the wheelhouse. But you're not talking about crisis management generally to redacted, right? You're talking about the problem she's facing. We don't know the details yet. I don't believe you. I really don't believe you. Why would someone, if someone was going to get in contact with you, first of all, I imagine a lot of these contacts, given you don't have any public social media profiles, are done by word of mouth or recommendation. So someone is going to understand that whoever this redacted person is has got a crisis going on, and that's why they need to speak to you. And I'm pretty sure they would have given you at least the basic outline of what they needed. So you were saying then that all crisis management is in your wheelhouse. I don't know exactly what's being, oh, yeah, I just don't believe him. Maybe they should have done a lie detector test. I know they're not admissible, but. The Texas case. In fact, Ms. Lively has prevented us from taking discovery in the Texas case, probably because it's been dismissed. So if your questions are limited to the New York case, where the accusations are clear about what she's alleging, I'll let him answer. Maybe this was before it was dismissed. I'll let him have that. But I do not imagine that at this point, I do not find one word that comes out of Jed Wallace's mouth to be truthful. So I have no reason to believe that Ms. Lively prevented you from taking discovery. I'm sure there were other reasons why you didn't get to discovery, like you hadn't proved jurisdiction. So that's his lawyer speaking. So if your questions are limited to the New York case where the accusations are clear about what she's alleging, I'll let him answer. But I don't want him answering questions about the Texas case. Well, as you recall, in Ms. Lively's deposition, you, in your limited time, and it was limited, asked her questions about the Texas 202 position, correct? Well, I asked her what I asked her. Okay. But I wasn't asking her about the Texas case. I'm not asking you specifically about allegations in your Texas complaint, okay? Okay. But at any point in time, perhaps other than your allegations in your Texas complaint, have you ever claimed or alleged that Ms. Lively fabricated her allegations of sexual harassment? Not that I recall. Have you ever had, to your knowledge, okay, at any point in time, did you gain that understanding? As I said, he's my lawyer since 2020. That was my first phone call. We were trying to process what it meant. Wait, Babcock's your lawyer since 2020? So I remember when Jed Wallace was saying that he couldn't afford to be sued by her. But yet your lawyer is the same lawyer that represented, and maybe still does, Oprah Winfrey? All right. Did you understand when you received this email and the attached cease and desist letter that you were required to preserve all documents concerning Ms. Lively's sexual harassment allegations against Mr. Baldoni and other Wayfarer parties? I don't need to say this, but exclude conversations with your lawyers. Yes. Ask the question again. I'm sorry. Did you understand that this letter required you to preserve all documents concerning Ms. Lively's sexual harassment allegations against Mr. Baldoni and other Wayfarer parties? Oh my God, I'm so glad we finally got there. I did. And did you understand that did you understand that you were required to preserve all documents concerning Ms. Lively's retaliation allegation against the Wayfarer parties? I did. Did you understand that preservation requirement to extend to electronically stored information? Yes. And you saw the long description of electronically stored information in this letter as you were reviewing it. I did. You saw that included things like WhatsApp and Signal. I did. Okay. And emails and text messages? Yes. Okay. What steps did you take? And I don't want to know about conversations that you had with your counsel. But what steps, if any, did you personally take to preserve documents after receiving this letter? I called my lawyer. 1 second. I just want to say I've just been able to see the chat, and I said, and I want to put you up on the stage because I'm really glad, and I don't know if you were on the previous live stream. I'm Bobo, but thank you for finding me again. Tonight has been a disaster, and I know you've only literally started watching my channel, so I promise you things will get better from here. Where was I? Apart from talking to your attorneys, which I will not ask you about, did you take any steps personally to engage in document preservation for your devices? I did. What they suggested. Okay. Did you personally go into your phone and change any settings, retention settings on your Signal app after receiving this letter? I don't recall doing that. Okay. Do you recall examining the retention settings on the Street Relations email accounts? I don't recall. Do you know one way or the other whether the Street Relations email accounts have retention settings on them? Yeah, they retain everything. For how long? From my understanding, I don't recall. Okay, so you don't know if that's indefinite for some period of time. Again, I do not believe him. You cannot run a business like this. You cannot run a business if you don't know whether your emails are saving, because you may need to go back and reference one, or you may have a thread where you were discussing something from some time ago. If you have a contract, this guy works on contracts. He's such a terrible liar. Do you recall going into your WhatsApp account and changing any settings in that? I don't recall. And how about in iMessage? Do you recall looking at any settings that you might have had with respect to data retention on the cloud for Apple or for your device with Apple? I don't recall. You, from time to time, use the voice note feature. Is that right? I would say it was a lot more than time to time. I would say it was nearly every time you send a message from what I've seen. Yes. And am I right that the voice note feature is configured in a way on Apple's devices where voice notes will not automatically be saved to devices? I don't know the specifics. Bullshit. Even I know if you send someone a voice note on WhatsApp, they stay, but on iMessage, it literally says keep underneath it. And if you don't click keep and the other person listens to it, it disappears. I just can't believe he is this blatant at lying. What's the question again? What you're asking? Do you know if on your device, the voice notes that you send or receive are automatically saved to your device, or whether you have to save them yourself? I don't know offhand. Okay. So you don't know one way or the other whether, for example, if you send a voice note to someone in the context of a text thread, whether that is saved. That being the voice note along with the text. Oh, is that the end? Yeah. We're at the end. Wow. That was really quick. Okay, there is one more page. I've read all that, right? Page 30. Yeah, I don't recall. Can't rule it out. I need to know more details. I don't know how this guy managed to not lose his shit with this guy, honestly. This is the most frustrating questioning I've ever heard. You've got to answer my question, sir. It's a yes or no question. Can you rule out the possibility that you were on a signal chain with Katie Case and Melissa Nathan as this on the date of this message here, August 8, 2024? Objection. Me too. Yeah. I don't know what indicates this is a signal message, so I'd need to know more information. Again, I don't believe you because they all have different fonts. Okay, you were communicating with people at Tag by this time in August of 2024, right? On Signal. Sure, yes, including Melissa Nathan. Okay, and you just don't recall whether this is among the signal messages that or signal chains that you were on. And I believe that is the end of what we have in the document. Wow. Well, that's it. We've come to the. Feel free to join you with Dale. I will, Bobo. I do sometimes come onto the live chats with Dale Wheatley. He is so funny. I mean, I'm a little bit more like, he gets so worked up. And I can understand it now, having read through this myself, because I find Jed Wallace incredibly frustrating with his answers. Like, he's deliberately, I mean, in my opinion, he's deliberately lying. But he's trying to deflect every question. He's trying to be clever. It's almost like he's had some kind of military training. That's how it comes across to me. Like, his deflection and avoidance of answering any very straightforward questions. Like, do you know if your voice notes save? Like, everyone knows how to answer that, but he's acting like he has some kind of like mental repression. It's just so like annoying. And I don't understand whether this refusal to hand over any evidence that doesn't prove anything from his own side, let alone the other person's, like, is this seen as a sign of them hiding and basically being guilty of what they're accused of? Because why else would you hide it? Why else would you hide it? I would have liked him to ask, how do you function as a digital service business? Because we know he has a digital service business. His old websites and press releases are still all over the internet. So yeah, I wish he had been asked to explain how he can be doing that without knowing any of this information, because this is something that even people that have the simplest understanding of how to use technology would know how to answer. So it just makes it very incredible. By the way, Bobo, if you watch part 1, because I was doing a part 1 of this and I got cut off. And the reason why I got cut off is because I showed a picture of his ugly face. So I don't dare do it again. But yeah, if you want to go and check that out. And I also spoke about what I know about his background and his history working with Bryan Freedman around 2020 and 2021 in regards to working as a PR service for recovery treatment center brokers, and how he was involved in reality shows and working on a movie for a production company that Bryan Freedman gave legal representation to. So that's all in part 1. I would like to once again apologize for my absolute amateur performance tonight. I have no excuses, but technology failed me when I needed it the most. And I promise you that the next one I will try and be more together. Thank you to all my regular viewers and for all the support and comments. It makes me realize that I don't really care about the amount of views these videos get. The point is, I'm putting the facts out there. I'm putting the statements that they themselves have made out there so people can come and reference it in their own time. My commentary tonight was a little bit OTT, but honestly, that was a bit of a nightmare what I had to deal with. So I'll speak to you all on the next live, and all have a great rest of the evening. Good night.